Foster, third. Susan, fifth. Second, and Donna Christian, lead. Shooting Blue Rocks from Quebec, Sydney Turgeon, skip. Lise Caron, third. Sandra Price, second, and Caroline Magar, lead. On sheet 2, shooting Red Rocks from Northern Ontario, Marion Park, skip. Bev Janilla, third. Karen Sarakimaki, second, and Barb Ward, third. I apologize for butchering her name. Blue Rocks on sheet 2 from Saskatchewan, Murray Popak is skip. Sylvia Johnson, third. Linda Delver, second. And Trudy Dykes, lead. On sheet 1 from Manitoba, shooting Red Rocks, the skip, Pat Malinchuk. Karen Sheldon is third. Nancy Stemmel is second. And Ruth Weed is lead. Shooting Blue Rocks from Ontario, Ann Dunn, skip. Tara Thompson, third. Vicky Mariamchuk, second. And Fran Todd is lead. Our featured game this evening on sheet 3. Shooting the Red Rocks from New Brunswick, Isabel Yeamans, skip. Hope Steeves, third. Shawn Stubbert, second. Helen MacDonald, lead. Shooting the Blue Rocks from Nova Scotia, Margaret Cutcliffe, skip. Karen Hennigar, third. Gail Hayes, second. Linquist, lead. Good evening and good touring, everybody.
Good evening and welcome to the 2016 Canadian Masters Curling Championships here at the Wolfville Curling Club. A very exciting set of games here this evening. We're in the final evening of round robin play in the ladies championship pool. The girls will play one more game tomorrow morning, but this will be the last evening before we move to the semifinals tomorrow afternoon and the finals on Sunday. Tonight's game has Team Nova Scotia sitting at 5-2, playing very well of late and certainly in the hunt for a playoff position. A win here tonight would go a long ways towards that for them. Taking on Team New Brunswick. New Brunswick at 4-3, probably a must-win for them to have any chance to move on to the playoffs. So we expect to have a great game. Margaret Cutcliffe of Team Nova Scotia is the skip. And Isabel Yeamans is the skip of the team from New Brunswick. I had a little mix-up with the score postings, result postings earlier today, so we actually thought both these teams were 5-2 coming into this, but they did have one game backwards for a little while, and they've got it all fixed up now, and we have 4 teams sitting at 5-2. They're just not exactly the same 4 teams, and 3 teams at 4-3, I think it is. A very even field anyways. Pretty much everybody's still with the possibility of making the playoffs, but you're at a point now where you really can't afford to lose no matter what your record is, or you do run the risk of not moving on. So Nova Scotia without the hammer here in the first end. Nova Scotia lead Joe Linquist starts it off. An in-turn draw. Seen this sheet a lot now. It's a great sheet of ice. Great curling ice all the way around here at the Wolfville Club and also over at the Glooscap Club in Kentville. Girls should played a lot of games now. They should have no problem with ice conditions. Speed's good, lots of curl. No excuses, I guess, as they say. Brunswick skip Isabel Yeamans asking lead Helen MacDonald to play a takeout here on the rock at the top of the 12-foot. Expect to see a fairly open first end. Maybe even an end or two before they actually kind of mix it up a little bit. This one's a little light, curling too far. Just not quite enough weight on that one, I think. So an early miss for New Brunswick. Slight advantage to Nova Scotia, but so early. Our Cutcliffe, a white broom on the white circle, kind of tough to see. I'm sure a little better from down there. From ice level, Jill Linquist. Bring her second stone at the first end. Give you the scoop on who's playing who across the board here in the first end of the first end. Take me that long to figure out who it is. So we got a little tap coming here, probably. Nice weight, great weight. So another takeout. You can see skip Isabel Yeamans has added a little bit of ice for this shot, and probably will ask for a little bit of weight, a little more weight as well. Well, MacDonald has it on the way, a little tight. Going pretty hard. They might have to take the back one, but maybe not. They might have waited a little too long to call them off. So kind of caught in between on that one for the team for New Brunswick, and they ended up getting the front one out anyways. I think they had sort of given up and were going to play the back one, but didn't happen, but get rid of one rock, and that's not too bad. So second stone, Gail Hayes for Team Nova Scotia. Delivering a guard here. This will be just looking for something tight to the house. As we said, all the teams very even here. There's nobody with only even one loss. Everybody has 2 losses at least, and see these guys play yesterday, and certainly a very evenly matched pool here in the championship pool at the 2016 Kings County Canadian Masters in beautiful Kings County, Nova Scotia. Beautiful today, might be looking a little bit more like Christmas in a couple days. From what I understand, we're expecting to get a little snow. Kind of enough snow for the winter. We could be done with that, but it's not going to happen. So another takeout for the team for New Brunswick. This time we have Shawn Stubbert, or Stubbert it might be. Either way, looks like a nice delivery. Certainly a good throw and lots of weight. No problem with that one. Brunswick with the hammer, as we said, so really no big problems yet. Just they would like to be able to find a way to make a double or have a rollout for Nova Scotia to be able to maybe blank this first end. But that's a few rocks away yet. Looks good. Good shot. Looking for a little roll behind the blue one. That would be good. I don't know that it's any better just rolling the open side, but either way, hits and stays sitting 2. Been a great week here at the Masters. I've been here since Thursday, I think. It was only like yesterday. Must have been here since Wednesday. So it's been a lot of good curling, been a lot of good socializing for the teams. They have a few social events planned for the group, and move them all around, have a good time, and enjoy the area, and maybe come back sometime in the summer when it's even nicer. In-turn takeout here for second stone Shawn Stubbert. Looks like she might have this double, and she does. Great throw. Shawn obviously has the ability to throw the up weight. That's about as heavy a takeout as I've seen the ladies teams throw on that one, and no problem. Threw it nice, threw it straight. Good delivery. Nova Scotia now look to play the takeout on the rock in the 12-foot, playing the out turn. Inside out. It's always interesting to see teams' choice or preference on which turn to play. You see a lot of teams playing outside in all the time, other teams playing inside out all the time, and some play a blend. That's why Jennifer Jones's team tends to play a little bit more inside out than most competitive teams. I always find that a little bit interesting, but that's how they go about it. Hennigar Karen, a terrific player for years, makes the first takeout, rolls out, but that's okay. It's early in the game. Steeves throwing now for Team New Brunswick. Third position. Hope was born in Edinburgh, Scotland. Kind of an interesting thing. Throwing the in-turn draw, looks a little hot. Sweeper's backing away a little bit. And Margaret Cutcliffe, an old front end player, she won't have any trouble sweeping that one through the house. Karen will be asked to throw one to the button. Pretty simple strategy here in the first end. Just got to make the shots. You notice Karen throw here. Karen throws a terrific stone. Nice and straight. Works at the game really hard. Does some coaching as well. Has done some coaching with Colleen Pinckney's senior team. Former world senior champions. And others along the way. Marg out to help. See if they can get that one here. And it looks like it'll just slide over the Bella Lion logo and into the 12-foot. So a good shot. Brunswick will play the hit. Fair bit of ice on this one. Oh, must throw her takeouts maybe not quite as hard as Shawn. And that's fine. Whatever works. As long as you know what's coming, you're in good shape. A little extension on that one. A little bit of weight on this. But it will curl. It's been curling here all week. A little bit of directional help. And she's got it, no problem at all. Might stay or might not. Nope, rolls out of the 12-foot. Men's action going on this evening over at the Glooscap Club in Cantville. There is a draw on our other feed. If you happen to want to pop over there, see what's going on. We were lucky enough to have the Team Nova Scotia Ontario game earlier today in the men's championship pool. Steve Ogden winning that one 7-1 over Ontario. Big game for Nova Scotia. They really had to win that game and expected it to be a really difficult task in Ontario with only one loss coming into that. The Nova Scotia team played just brilliantly. The Ontario team not so much, and that resulted in a lopsided victory for the Nova Scotia squad. Keep their hopes alive. They really need to win out to have a chance at the playoffs, and so far they've got the first half of that done. They won their first two in the championship pool, and will look to win tonight and tomorrow morning and make it to the semifinals on Saturday afternoon. Nice draw by Marg. Pretty much right on the button. Well done. Team New Brunswick skip Isabel Yeamans will look to remove that. Probably like to just to roll a little bit left or right. Had a little tumble on the sheet beside us. Or the Ontario skip, Marion Clark. Did a little roll action on that delivery. So here comes the in-turn takeout. Not quite yet. Still doing a little cleaning around the house, around the hack. So this one's on its way. Sweeper's not doing much of anything right now. Just needs to curl a little bit. And it's perfect. Good throw. So if you're wondering, you've noticed here that Karen Hennigar, who the third for Team Nova Scotia, doesn't actually hold the broom for Marg. I'll tell you who is holding the broom in a minute, so I figured out. Gail. Gail Hayes holding the broom for Skip Cutcliffe. Just a matter of choice who holds the broom for you. You can have anybody on the team hold it. Just has to be the same person. They just can't change every end. So Mark, from the in-turn takeout. Girl's working hard on it. Looks like a ton of weight. And she's fine. That one curls a long way. That really moving tonight, this sheet. Nice to see. Always makes for a more fun game. Brunswick now will look to blank this end. Long way to roll, though. That's why Mark wanted to make sure she stayed around the center of the house. And you have to roll 6-7 feet to blank the end. It's much tougher than if you just have to roll a foot or two. So a bit of a challenge to blank this one, but we'll see how New Brunswick gets along with it. First plan of action here all the time would be to make sure you hit it first. Sometimes you get so intent on a blank that you just slide right by everything. It's on its way. Isabel looks like she can throw a little weight too when she needs to. Nice slide right at the stick. Probably going to nose hit it. If you ever want to learn how to throw nose hits, just practice blanks. Because if you practice them, you always make nose hits. It's a great thing. So, New Brunswick does pick up one with hammer in the first. Not that they wanted it, but they've got it. And a 1-0 lead after one end of play here at the 2016 Canadian Masters. We're at the Wolfville Curling Club. Action going on here and at the Glooscap Club in Kentville. Good crowd upstairs tonight. Everybody having watching the game. A few working on some pizza. It's all good. We will update you as they put up some scores. We're actually a tiny little bit ahead of the other games. As we had a pretty basic wide open end, and as a result, ended up being a little ahead of a couple of the games. So New Brunswick now turns over the hammer to Nova Scotia, and Helen MacDonald's lead for Team New Brunswick. We'll throw this one, probably called a guard. I'm not really sure if I saw the call. But either way, she's in the 4-foot. We'll see what Nova Scotia opts to do. I think that's going to be too good to leave. And it will be. Marg will hit this one. If it had slid maybe to the back of the 8-foot, Marg probably would have thought a little bit about throwing a corner guard there, but that one's just a little too good. So Jill Linquist will be asked to remove that. In-turn takeout. She might have got it going a little bit out of her hand. Girls are going to have to sweep pretty hard on it. I think she's going to be okay, but Karen's going to have to work real hard at holding it just to get a piece and get it out of play, and she will. New Brunswick will look to replace that one. Probably with one a little bit shorter. I really think that they're probably going to be looking for a short center guard here. This one might be going to overcurl a little bit. Girls want to get a little deeper. Have to figure out how much further you want to go as it works its way to the corner. So you probably have something between a center guard and a corner guard here, and Margaret will probably use this one, and she does. Going way out in the in-turn. This is a little bit of a tricky piece of ice out here. It will go a little bit straight as you work your way out to the edge of the 12-foot. We saw both men's teams today get caught once apiece on that shot. Much more costly for Team Ontario as it led to a draw for 5 for Nova Scotia, but either way, it will curl once it starts, though. Girls working hard on this one. Good sweepers, this team from Nova Scotia. She might get a bye, and she does. Great sweep and great effort. Mark might want to stop sweeping it, because if she doesn't, it's going to come right out the other side. So great shot there. Let Jill Linquist throw a perfect shot, perfect ice. Great result. As you can see on the screen, though, it is half open. skinny half, though. So New Brunswick second stone, Shawn Stubbert. Is this one on the way? Really like the way she throws the stone. Nice and straight, shoulder square. Firm weight. Might have missed a sweeping on this one. Got to go real hard to get it by. They do. Wow. That's a great shot. Great sweeping call by the skipper. Mark now will ask Gail Hayes to try to hit this and roll behind that guard. Brunswick actually probably swept that one too far, to be honest. They probably should have left that just another few feet higher. Not that a higher guard's better, but you'd like to be a little closer to that center line. Karen Hennigar going hard on this one. Karen working both sides of the rock, usually. Says that's enough. Good shot. Rolls a little bit open on the intern side, but it's still a good stone. Shawn Stubbert with his second crack at making this shot perfect. Oh, nice shot there. Rolls almost buried. We consider that actually completely buried in my league, but it's not quite buried. And on this ice, the way it curls, it's certainly gettable. So Mark Cutcliffe will go after it. Gail Hayes with this one. Probably not a lot of weight on the shot, probably more like a board weight shot. Try to get a little curl after the guard. Threw it out of her hand pretty tight. Don't know if Karen can hold this one or not. Karen, great sweeper. Not going to work this one, no. It's going to be okay. Gets rid of the guard. Saw Marg indicate to her other sweeper to make sure that that rock rolled away. Didn't have to go all the way out, but certainly wanted to get it over there a fair ways. Reminder, if you want to get a hold of us on Twitter, you can do that at Masters Curling. If you want to get me directly, you can get me at ACC Super 55. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, tell us if we're making any mistakes. Tell us what you like. Don't tell us what you don't like. And we'll be all good. So nice looking guard coming down here for New Brunswick's third, Hope Steeves. That's a really well thrown guard. Hard to throw guards out here. They just curl a lot, so you have to be careful. That probably ideal would be another few feet, but that's pretty darn good. You can see on the screen that it's pretty well buried. But there's room. Karen Hennigar throws a pretty pure stone, so she'd probably have a pretty good chance of making this one. It's on its way. This one will curl. She's in a position on the sheet that there's certainly going to be enough curl. Working one sweeper. High side sweeper, trying to get it to move a little bit. Should be okay, I think. And a great shot. Just barely enough weight to get it out, but it does. So nice shot by Karen Hennigar. Karen very steady. I've seen Karen play a lot over the years. And she's not a spectacular player, just super steady player. Doesn't have very many bad days on the ice. Or in life. She's just a super good person, too. That's the other nice thing. Brunswick third, Hope Steeves has this on the way. Looks like it's going to be okay. Can't quite see the rock from our position, but oh, didn't get it. she had a little more of it than that. If not, I thought they might be working at it, trying to make it curl, but they didn't do that. So Nova Scotia now will go open side. I think I actually like the come around way better. There we go. Mark switched it up. Didn't think I said it loud enough for her to hear, but. So the in-turn come around now for Karen Hennigar. Put this right at the top of the 8-foot. Full 8-foot even's good. Switching turns. You know what Karen's thinking, but we also know that it will curl hard enough on the in-turn to have no problem making the same shot. You definitely want to bury this a little bit. So Karen with the out-turn delivery. See if she can get in behind this guard and guard the other one, set up, maybe even set up a 3-ender. This one has to curl some. It will curl at the end. But it's also a little light, so switch sweepers now and see if they can make it curl and still get it there. It's going to be pretty good. Just didn't curl quite enough that they could really let it die on its own, so certainly an opportunity for New Brunswick to escape this end by making a double here, or even a little hit and flop behind the guard. Make the scoring zone pretty small for Nova Scotia. But a pretty good shot. See the crowd downstairs behind the glass, getting pretty full down there. Good crowd up here. A couple of rows of seats pretty much booked solid, and some people standing up, taking in the game, so that's all good. Reminder, the games are, it's about, I don't know if they changed the price yet, about $5 a day. So tomorrow you could certainly watch the semifinals and watch the final draw in the morning, and then take in the semifinals in the afternoon. $2.50 a game, that's a pretty good deal. Actually, event passes for this were only $20 for what probably had to be like 17 draws or something like that. This one on the way looks not bad. Has to move a little bit. Obviously, New Brunswick is not a team that does the whole directional sweeping much or at all, because they sure would have done it on that one had they liked it. So a good shot, but does give Mark Cutcliffe a chance to make the little hit and flop and put New Brunswick in big trouble here. Just update you while we have a chance here on the game. Just got to figure out who's who. So Ontario scored 2 in the first end to take a 2-0 lead over Manitoba. And figure out who threw here. So it looks like 2-0 lead for Saskatchewan over Northern Ontario, and a 1-0 lead over here on the other sheet for BC over Quebec. You're up to date. So Mark's got this one on the way. Mark always has pretty close on weight. Oh, this one's going hard on them. Don't know quite what happened there, but that one really took off. Maybe just a little bit light on the weight. Or a little misread on the ice. Anyways, it was a bad break for Team Nova Scotia. A miss here by skip Mark Cutcliffe. Rock that just really overcurled. The girls are discussing a little bit now, try to figure out whether or not a little underthrow or whether it wasn't quite enough ice or what was the situation. It's always important to know. It looks like watching, can't read Mark's lips, but it certainly looks like she's indicating it was something she probably did more so than actually having the wrong ice there. Maybe just a little bit light on the weight, maybe. So a chance for New Brunswick to force Nova Scotia to 1 here. If she makes this shot, Isabel Yeamans makes this and stays, she'll force Mark Cutcliffe to take her 1 here in the second end. She's going to have to curl a long ways or it may not hit anything. Well, I think she's got a piece. And she does, enough to get it out. Just a little bit of overthrow. I'm guessing that Marg's last shot probably just sent a little bit of doubt in the mind of Isabel Yeamans on that, where Marg's overcurled and it didn't make contact with the rock she wanted to, or just barely made contact. As a result, New Brunswick overthrows that one a little bit, rolls out, and Nova Scotia has a chance to to maybe blank this end. Again, once again, second end, it's early in the game. You certainly make sure they hit first. If you take one here, it's not the end of the world. Tie the game up 1-1 after 2. That would be fine. Cutcliffe in the hack. Karen Hennigar again going hard on the sweeping. Karen might be just a little tired by the end of the night. You can tell what happened there. Karen straightened it right up, which was great, except they almost straightened it up too much. They had to go a little bit at the end to make it curl. End result, perfect shot from Margaret Cutcliffe and a blank in the second end. New Brunswick continues to lead Nova Scotia 1-0 after 2 ends. Bell Alliance proud to be the official broadcaster for the 2016 Canadian Masters Championships from the Glooscap and Wolfville curling clubs here in Kings County, Nova Scotia. Bell Alliance, there's more to love with fiber op. So get a good game going here. The girls haven't really mixed it up too much yet, but I would expect to see some more of that here shortly. Lead Helen MacDonald throwing the first stone for Team New Brunswick. And a good rock right out in front of the rings, 3 or 4 feet, and on the center line, so good shot for Helen MacDonald. So Mark decides to come around it this time, asking the Jill Linquist to play the in-turn draw around that guard. Jill curls out of the Truro Curling Club, has 1 Canadian Senior Championships to her credit. Oh, sorry, 2, 2006 and 2007. So good for Jill. Now she has a Masters, Canadian Masters to her credit. Oh, good. Hoping for a playoff appearance here at the Masters and maybe even a little better after that. The women don't like to look very far ahead, I've found over the years. Men's teams will look at the draw, know exactly who and when they play and everything else and have it all figured out. Women's teams sort of tend to not do that. I never really understood it, but they don't. Well, that's all right. I'm good. Taking a little abuse here from the women in the crowd. I didn't say it was a bad thing. I just don't get it. So we're playing the outturn draw now for Team New Brunswick. After the in-turn draw slipped a little deep for Nova Scotia. Helen MacDonald with the outturn. Sweepers are just kind of watching this. This will dig in and will curl here, as you'll see. So now going a little bit harder. Looks like a great shot here. Oh, just a terrific shot. Helen MacDonald can't do any better than that as lead. You get perfect guard, perfect come around. So, well, I did my job. You guys work this out the rest of the way. So Team Nova Scotia now, Jill Linquist will try to follow that down. It's important to make this one, actually, even though it's early in the game and it's lead stones. If you don't make this one, then it's going to be a little tough to score here, maybe, if New Brunswick gets a chance to throw a guard. This one out a little bit further and a little bit heavier. So we'll see what they end up with here. Not bad. They have shot rock. That counts. So nice weight by Jill Linquist there. Maybe just a little wide. Yeah, maybe, I don't know, maybe a couple feet heavy, but I don't consider that to be a miss when you throw it just 2 feet heavy. Thank you. I'm throwing everything around here at the curling club. I get everybody picking up all my junk. Thank you. So the outturn hit now for Shawn Stubbert. I hope I say that right. Girls working hard. Is it Stubbert? Somebody told me it's Stubbert. All right. going to change her now. She's going to be Shawn Stubbert the rest of the way until we get anybody else calls. The other day when I did a game in Digby at the Canadian Seniors, we actually had called somebody by their names for 3 or 4 ends, and somebody came in and said, "Oh, no, you got the names backwards." So we changed the first names, and at the break I went down and talked to the skip, and we had it right the first place. So it was just a complete disaster, but game was early enough in the morning that it was Team BC, actually, and nobody was up out there, so we were okay. So an in-turn peel attempt here for Team Nova Scotia. Looks like it might be okay, but maybe not. Right on the nose. Could have, a little unlucky here, jamming it on the back. Probably not quite enough weight for a peel, really. Just needed a little bit more. Turn draw now. All New Brunswick in the house at this point. Sitting 3, drawing to sit 4. A little extra handle on this one. Not a bad idea, except for I think it's going to keep it out there a little too far. Extra handle's great, but you got to know when it's coming. And you got to not throw it too hard, because as soon as you put the extra handle on, they just keep going and going and going. So as you can see, it's another counter, but not really too helpful. Looks good, but not really the greatest situation. So sitting 4, New Brunswick. Team Nova Scotia now looking to play a hit on the rock on the right-hand side of the forefoot, make something go away, maybe make a little roll on top of the rock and in behind the guard, or even roll the other way. Important just to make sure you hit something here and hopefully get a little bit more than just a hit out of it. Karen Hennigar on the broom again. Trying to hold it straight, and she does. We mentioned before, and we've been talking about it all day on this ice with these rocks. The ice, it rolls straighten up. You have to be really careful and aware that as soon as you jump it, you don't necessarily back it up, but you will straighten it right up, and that's what happened there, because you end up getting only 1 rock out of that, where certainly at least getting a couple was important. So New Brunswick sitting 3. Nova Scotia in some trouble, but we are only halfway through the end here. So lots of time. Hope Steeves with the draw here. Probably looking to this to be basically just top 12 foot. Deep, pretty wide open. Brunswick letting Nova Scotia off the hook a little bit here the last couple of shots, so it'll be up to the Nova Scotia girls to take advantage of that now, because they have had 2 shots in a row where Brunswick could have made it a whole lot tougher rather than just adding 1 to the numbers. Karen Hennigar now playing the out turn, looking to make a double, at least a double. Close enough together that you might get a whole lot of them. So it has to curl a little bit. Girl's trying to make it go. I think she's probably going to get a couple on this. Wow, she hit lost. She almost got 3. Very good shot. Opens things up quite a bit. Certainly still sitting 3 is not a great thing for Nova Scotia when the other team's sitting 3, but really, I like the picture of it better now than I did a minute ago with the rock behind the guard. Actually, New Brunswick could probably make this a little tougher if they just replace that rock, come right around the guard to the top of the forefoot. But they've chosen to play a guard on the one that's biting the back of the 4. Nothing terribly wrong with that call either. Must be pretty light. Sweepers got on it right away. And they're going really hard. She's going to be okay. So great work on the front end on that shot. I didn't think it was going that far. So nice shot. However, Good news for Nova Scotia is they actually can play a double or a hit and roll here, and I don't think you hit the front one. This is pretty wide open here in the way they stagger. You can have a look at the overhead there for a second, Scott. Yeah, great. Thank you very much. You can tell that she can hit the high one here, make the double, or even just kind of hit that one, kiss off the red, and roll it up behind the blue guard. I like that a lot better. It looks like that's what they're playing. Production guy Scott all over everything here. He's just been great. Now it's on its way. Can get this one to curl a little bit. It does have to curl. Girls haven't quite got this piece of ice figured out yet, but this won't be bad if it curled. No, it didn't curl at all. Unfortunate. Another missed opportunity for Team Nova Scotia to get out of this end and set up, maybe even set up a couple. So I had 2 or 3 chances to kind of avoid having Marg have to look at 3 or 4 on her last shot. Just haven't been able to quite pull it off. Isabel Yeamans throwing an out-turn hit here. This one needs to curl just a little bit just to avoid the jam at the back. Staying pretty straight. A little bit of sweeping now, trying to make it curl. I don't know if that's going to do it or not. Does eliminate 1 rock, so New Brunswick's only counting 3 now. And again, left an opportunity for Marg to make a hit and flop and get out of this end. Maybe even have a chance to score or 2. Really evenly matched teams here. Obviously, by the records, you can tell that the teams are quite evenly matched. But, you know, and I'll give you the scores here in a second. But looking across the board, basically, there's the maximum difference in any game right now is 1 point, and that's our game. Everybody else is tied up. Pretty much covers that update. Mark Cutcliffe with the delivery. Mark's a person that's made a lot of big shots over the years. Wouldn't be too surprised if she makes one here. This one's staying out, though. They might have bailed out a little bit, or here, maybe playing the double, or just trying to make it curl. Just trying to make it curl, I guess. Nose hit, not the end of the world, but would have been nice to get a little roll in, because now if New Brunswick ever gets that roll behind the red one, Mark Cutcliffe's going to be kind of in a world of hurt here. Maybe have to look at going all the way on the other side, throwing an in-turn draw, looking at 3, or playing some kind of a double run back or whatever to hold New Brunswick to 1. That would be a little bit scary. Hard to make that shot. If you don't make it, you give up 2. But New Brunswick's got to make that kind of shot first, so no guarantees on that. Isabel has this one on the route. I'll tell you what, this is not going to get the inside roll. Might get to the nose. Might not. Might even pick that one off the 4-foot. No. Good shot for Isabel. Obviously would have preferred the inside roll, but you're sitting 3 in the third end in a game that you already lead 1-0 with Nova Scotia having to make a shot looking at 3. That's not bad. Rose talking about how they want to play this. You can play a couple of shots. You can throw the hit and roll off the top one. Tough to get shot. Play the straight draw to the back one. Through that hole, right to where the broom is being tapped there now by Gail Hayes. Could go all the way to the other side, throw the in-turn, but that would be unlikely if you don't know what's going on over there. Going to be really important here to, at the very least, make sure you don't give up anything more than 1. You definitely can score, but you can't afford to give up more than one here. So big shot early in the game here for Team Nova Scotia, facing 3 New Brunswick counters. We're still chatting a little bit about the weight. Marg's got it coming down now. Little extension at the end. Looked like a lot of weight to me, but I can't quite tell with that little extension. Tell you what, though, it's got to curl a long ways. Jill Linquist now trying to get it to move. And she's probably going to have some success with that. Looks pretty good if it gets by that top red one. She makes it. And great shot by Mark Cutcliffe. In the third end here, the 2016 Masters Curling Championships in Wolfville, Nova Scotia. Really tough shot there, going through a port. Had to have the weight perfect, had to have everything right, and she did just that. So Nova Scotia survives an end that was not going their way ever to tie this game up, and we have 4 ties across the board. 2-2, 2-2, 1-1, 1-1. So wherever you're cheering for right now, in whatever game they're playing, they're tied. What was it? Well, they got it posted. I was just told one of the games is actually 2-1, but they haven't got it up yet with 3-2, 3-1. We'll tell you in a minute. So had a little explosion in the background. Somebody checked for injuries back there, but I think everybody's all right. They were worried about power outages in the area this morning, and now I can sort of see what happened. So nice draw there. Jill Linquist puts it right on the Bell Alliance logo. We talked all last week. We'll say again this week. Never wrong if you're on the Bell Alliance logo. This logo's a little too close, but that's a good shot. Outturn draw now for Isabel Yeamans, indicating a draw to the 12-foot on the tee line. I thought she might go corner guard, but I don't think she has. Corner guard would be the good miss here if you're going to miss this. Miss it short. This looks like it'll be okay. And we mentioned earlier today, we'll mention again, that everybody in the club this week, spectators and curlers alike and volunteers and everybody has been able to enjoy complimentary apples all week that have been donated by a couple of local markets, Sterling Farm Markets and Noggins Corner Market here. We'd like to thank those guys for their support of the event. It's always a nice treat to be able to grab a Great Valley apple and enjoy. Also like to thank K. Milne Co. for their support. They've sponsored the gas for the vehicles that we've driven everybody around with all week. And as I said earlier, more importantly, they have also provided these massive cookies that you can buy at the kitchen for like, I don't know, maybe $1. And they're about 8 inches wide and about 1.5 inches thick. And they have various different types. I've tried 2 now. Just little bites of 2. I haven't had a whole one yet. But I got one in my bag to take home, so maybe a little later on. Isabel Yeamans now will ask for an outturn takeout here and see if she can make this and stay. Lead Helen MacDonald with the delivery. Good sweepers out here tonight. We've been saying that a lot. It's amazing how good of sweepers that we have here in this Masters Championship. And a lot of the curlers here are Masters, but they're not just Masters like last week. They've been Masters for a while, and we've seen. Yeah. Oh my God! I am never going to get out of this place alive. But either way, I've just been super impressed with the conditioning of the curlers, and their ability to sweep rock after rock after rock at a slightly advanced age. My age, actually, now that I think about it. So Mark Cutcliffe now with that rollout will have a chance to play the intern come around. Gail Hayes might be a little heavy. Nobody wants to touch this one. That would indicate pretty much that it's definitely going to be at the back, if nothing else. Back 12, back 8, I guess. Not bad. It's just not the side you want to miss on that when you don't have last rock playing the fourth end. You'd like to be light, if anything. So they're going to get rid of this guard here. I thought they actually might play this a little while ago, but they didn't. But they're going to get rid of it now and try to maybe roll to the corner. One of the corners, doesn't even matter which corner. Shawn Stubbert. Formerly Shawn Stubbert for a little while, but nice shot. Might get them both, and she does. Great shot. So, terrific shot by Shawn. Nice thing for New Brunswick is now that rock is theirs. That's always, you look at it, it's not a big difference, but it really is maybe later on when you have to try to figure out how to get out of trouble and you're looking at running a rock back, and it's always nice when it's yours. So we do have a few changes in the score now, so I will update you here just in 1 second after this shot. This one looks a little heavy again. Actually looks a little bit heavier than the last one. So Gail won't be super happy with that. Quite heavy, actually. So on sheet 1, Manitoba stole one in the third, go up by 3-2. Score 3-2. On sheet 2, Saskatchewan scored one in the third to go up 3-2. And on sheet 4, BC scored 2 in the third to go up 3-1. In our game, as you know, 1-1 after 3. New Brunswick with the hammer as we play the fourth end. Game's moving right along tonight. It hardly seems like we should be pretty close to the fourth end break. But we are. This one's going to be a little short, I think. Girls sweeping hard, but doesn't matter how hard you sweep it. Sometimes it just doesn't work. That one's just a little light. Shawn's thrown a pretty much all takeouts, I think, so far. So that first draw of the game sometimes can be a little bit difficult. We mentioned earlier all the gas provided for our vehicles. I also like to thank several companies who did provide vehicles for this event. Kentville, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep provided 4 vehicles for our use of transporting players around to different draws and wherever they might like to go. Cornwallis Chevrolet provided a couple vehicles this week. Again, just all these vehicles really provided to move players and teams back and forth between the curling clubs and hotels and wherever else they like to go. Good looking shot coming in here. If they can get a bye, working hard, snuck it by, great sweeping. Mark Cutcliffe, really strong sweeper in her own right, out to help. Terrific shot by Karen Hennigar. The only thing the girls have to do on these is sort of figure out they can't keep sweeping it out so it's open on the other side. But they're not going to play it anyway. A couple other dealerships, a few other dealerships that helped us out this week. Summit Hyundai, Forbes Kia, Valley Ford, and Kentville Toyota have all provided at least one vehicle for our support. You need a lot of vehicles for this. You have a lot of teams in town, 26, 28 teams, somewhere around there. That's a lot of people and a lot of curling. Got to get them all to their games. Got to get them all to the social events. 1 or 2 of those, wherever they were. We've got a banquet tomorrow night for them all. So the vehicles will be busy tomorrow evening. A little tap-up call by New Brunswick here, rather. Not going to quite make it, actually. Not a bad shot, though. Forces Nova Scotia to make a decision. And a tough decision, really. You can hit the open one. And if you do, you probably eliminate any chance of stealing the end because you are going to leave yours open. Or you can throw the guard. I think if you didn't have the red ones out there helping you out, certainly the hit on the red would be the call. But because you already have that rock pretty well guarded, you don't have to make an absolutely perfect guard. You just have to get one somewhere close to that center line. And you may well steal a point here. There's not a lot of the 4 foot left for New Brunswick to work with. So that's what they've chosen to do. Just can't be heavy on this one. I think it looks pretty good. Just bite that center line really is all you need. Got to go hard, got to finish this. And that should do the job. Great shot by Karen Hennigar. They played the Scots once on Dow's Lake in Ottawa, and they brought their own stones, and they had different size stones. And if they were playing here today, they could actually get through that port. But I'm not sure they can get through with these ones. Brought their own stones and, I don't know, 800 little bottles of scotch, I think it was. It was crazy. So again, an out-turn peel here for Team New Brunswick. Might be trying to run this back into the one in the 4 foot. That'd be a very aggressive call, but looks like they might be taking a run at it. It's really close, but it might jam as well. So, big break for Nova Scotia, and New Brunswick in some trouble here in the 4th end. Rock already well guarded up. Nova Scotia sitting 2. Think a little bit about this one before you just throw it out there. Make sure you put it in the right spot, not just some old spot. So Mark looking to throw this one really back pretty much where it was, maybe a little bit tighter to the rings. I would say if you took the Wolfville curling center sign there and right on the E on center, came this way, maybe 2 feet towards the house, you'd be perfect. Get the telestrator out and give that a go. So Nova Scotia in very good shape here. After playing a rocky 3rd end and being in trouble pretty much the entire end, they're in very, very good shape here and a really good opportunity to maybe steal a point, take a lead at the break. And a really tightly contested game so far. This one might be a touch heavy. Nobody really cleaning it very much. Jill Linquist now working a little bit. I guess not heavy. Probably going to be perfect. Karen directing traffic out there. Karen just does it all. And that's pretty darn good, I would say. The other option on that shot, and a lot of teams would have played it, is to come right in on top of your own. Basically, you come in and freeze to yours right directly in front of it, where New Brunswick really wouldn't have much of an opportunity to do anything with it. Be a super aggressive call, but one that many teams would have actually played. And it's great if you make it. If you just mess it up a little bit, though, you're out of the end. So not a bad call, probably a good choice for Mark Cutcliffe. Force New Brunswick into playing a very difficult come around. And if she ever misses it, she's going to be in big trouble. So Isabel Yeamans now. With her first rock of the 4th end. Big shot here. Good looking curling team. Actually, both these teams, solid curling teams. No Isabel at all. I would have thought, being from New Brunswick, I might have been familiar with her, but this is really close to being a great shot. If she's got the weight, she's just got a dandy. She's just a little bit heavy, maybe. Hard to tell, but either way, a terrific shot by Isabel Yeamans. Team New Brunswick. Looks like Nova Scotia might still be shot. I hesitate to say that because the camera angles can be deceiving. Gail Hayes having a look. Didn't really see the call that Marg indicated. So certainly, if she was playing any kind of if red was shot, she'd be playing something to move this. And I just don't know if that's what she's doing or not. Doesn't really look like it to me. Looks like kind of more draw, just a draw guard kind of shot. Find out shortly. Wouldn't be a bad decision to make a move on that red one anyways. I know you do set up a little backing maybe for Team New Brunswick, but they already have backing, and put a little heat on with the 3. I want to make sure they go by, and actually this might be playing that anyway. This looks like a pistol by Mark Cutcliffe, no matter where it ends up. Little tap, great shot. Mark showing she's came to play tonight, no problem at all. That was a great shot. Does leave the same shot for New Brunswick, but she couldn't really do too much about that. She obviously felt she had to make a play on the red. It might have been close enough to be shot rock. And a heck of a shot. Just shows you too the quality of the ice here. That's about 4 feet of ice curled in there, no problem at all. Wasn't like there was any doubt that it was going to make it in there. So if you ever did a draw to the button for hammer and made it, it'd be a good one to remember right about now. Isabel Yeamans, out-turn draw, looking at 2 Nova Scotia counters. This one's a little more, we heard the sweepers say. Still probably going to be okay. Might need to help this a little bit if you're the high side sweeper. Shawn Stubbert doing that. And this looks like it's perfect. This lady's making this look super easy. Very difficult shots that they just made look really easy. Great shot by skip Isabel Yeamans, and New Brunswick jumps out to a 2-1 lead at the 4th end break here at the 2016 Kings County Canadian Masters. We'll be back with you in about 5 minutes. And we're back here, just starting just a hair earlier than the 5 minutes of the break. Girls are anxious to get their stuff done and get done whatever they needed to do and had a drink and a bite to eat. And they're on their way with Helen MacDonald's first shot of the 5th end for Team New Brunswick. After skip Isabel Yeamans bailed the team out of trouble the last end, just much as Margie did the end before, and made a great final shot to score 1 with the hammer. And we have a great game going here. 2-1 lead for Team New Brunswick over Nova Scotia. Nova Scotia lead Jill Linquist being asked to come around that guard. This one will curl hard as well. Looks like pretty nice weight. This could be a great shot. Like to say above the tee line. Slips back a little bit, but still a good shot. So lead Helen MacDonald for New Brunswick. Helen, a native of Alberton, New Brunswick, has appeared in 3 Canadian seniors in 01 and 05 and 06. And last year's Masters and this year's Masters. Certainly had an opportunity to participate at the national level. That'd be a great opportunity, great experience. And she's got a great shot here. She's had a great game so far. Good shot, a little over curl, but still, pretty good shot. Does allow Nova Scotia, though, to come down to it if they can throw the perfect weight. Sit right on top of the button. Kind of like to see them play the out turn again, but I don't know if they will. Yeah, they do. I gave you a couple of these updates before, but we're going to go through them again. Jill Linquist, Halifax, Nova Scotia. A couple Canadian seniors under her belt. Back in 06 and 07. And again, playing a good game here today. Everybody playing a pretty good game here today. These have been really solid. A few little misses every now and then in the middle of the pack, but really not bad. Not a badly played game. Kind of hard trying to make this one curl in. This could be perfect. Oh, geez. Another few inches of curl, and it would have been absolutely perfect. As it is, maybe an opportunity for New Brunswick to make a play on this one. Don't have to be particularly heavy. Just come down and pump it back. She may go at... Oh, yeah, she is. She's just going to go at this with just back 4-foot weight. What we kind of had thought that might be possible. Some people would just play a takeout at this, especially with a 2-1 lead, but Isabel Yeamans, Team New Brunswick, decides to ask Shawn Stubbert to play the out turn. More or less freeze, really. It's just a T-line back 4-foot shot. Piece of ice that we know curls pretty well. Girls working hard on it. Should be pretty good, I think. And a great shot. I think it's getting very messy. Those that are interested, just a little update on the Nova Scotia men's game. Steve Ogden down 3-2 to Saskatchewan after 5 ends of play. Over at the Glooscap Curling Club. As we say, Steve probably needs to win out, so he's going to have to go a little over these last 3 ends. Not sure he can afford another loss. Nova Scotia looking to open things up a little bit here. And she'll get rid of all of her own almost. Not too many of the New Brunswicks. That bit of bad break there for Gail Hayes. That was hard to imagine you could actually run that back in there and end up with a worse result, unfortunately. Brunswick now looking to guard. New Brunswick now sitting 3, 2 of them buried behind a guard. As I say, that was hard to believe that could have ended up any worse. So a little bit of an out-turn guard, just top 12-foot guard here for Shawn Stubbert. So get a little inside-out motion, but on ice that curls like this ice curls, you'll probably get away with that most of the time. Tell by where she finishes her slide on a shot like that. Really right on the center line where the broom is out at the 8-foot, so the only way to get it out there is to kind of help it out a little bit with a little bit of an arm motion. Would kill you pretty much on straight ice. Doesn't really affect too much if you're playing on ice that has lots of curl. So Nova Scotia now, second stone Gail Hayes being asked to try to clean this mess up a little bit. Bit of a mess that she was really unfortunate to create a little bit on her first shot. Thought she had a pretty good rock and ended up girls working on this a little bit. Wouldn't mind leaving the blue one right there, actually. That would be a pretty good spot. Gets rid of one. This doesn't actually remove any, but moves them around. A little better setup than it was a minute ago for Nova Scotia. Probably need to let that curl a little bit more, actually. It wouldn't have been a bad idea to save that blue stone, even if you ended up not getting too much of the back one. So you didn't get a whole lot of it anyways. So New Brunswick still sitting 3. Throwing a guard. We're down to Hope Steve. New Brunswick's third, rather. Hope Steeves. Makes the guard. It's pretty long. Does open up the possibility that they might be able to come around it, but still a little too early for Margaret to panic here. Sort of figures, well, let's run this guard back. Get the one in the 4-foot, or even if you don't, even if you just kind of run it back towards the other side and drive it on the one on the just off the 4-foot, sure stone, so that wouldn't be a bad result as well. Karen Hennigar. Karen's solid delivery. A little bit of extension at the end to get that extra weight. Will they hold it? I don't think so. They need to get it go if they don't. Oh. Did move it over a little bit. I don't know if it's a better place or not, but it opens up the in-turn draw at least. Unlucky. Nova Scotia a little bit unfortunate this end. So another guard call for New Brunswick. She come right around to the 12-foot would be a good shot here. Hope Steeves. Shouldn't have too much trouble with this one. She basically just threw the same shot, indicating a little bit that might be a touch heavy out of her hand. Doesn't appear it's heavy now, so the front end's going on it a little bit. Hope's pretty confident. Turns around, come on back, and just look at that. Perfect. Nova Scotia in big trouble here. They do have hammer, but even with hammer, you don't like to have the other team sitting 4 at this point. So Karen Hennigar, chance to get them out of some trouble. It will curl pretty hard here. If you can get behind the blue one, just get to the button, you're probably in really good shape. I don't think that New Brunswick can actually make the run back on the red. I'm not so sure it would ever get over there. So big shot here for Karen Hennigar. Team Nova Scotia. Big trouble here in the 5th end. With only a few rocks to come. no sweeping this. Just looks like it has enough weight to me, but I haven't done a whole lot of sweeping in my career, so it'll depend on them to get it right. That's a good shot. It's only number 2, but still a very, very good shot. Takes a lot of heat off of Margaret Cutcliffe. Still really don't want to let the other team steal one here, but I'd like to be able to at least score and tie this game up. But that's still a very good shot by Karen Hennigar. No, you take 2 feet off of that and it's absolutely perfect. So Isabel Yeamans. Didn't see the call. I don't know if she's throwing the guard or she's coming right in. If she comes right in, she'll be looking to stay above the tee line. If you ever slide it to the back, you might give Margaret her out and let her end up scoring a point. If you make the guard here, not sure what Margaret has, Margaret Cutcliffe. She's probably going to have to try to open something up. There's not a lot of time to do that. Isabel with the delivery. Extension out with the right hand. Holler from the sweepers. I'm not sure. Since they're not sweeping, I assume they're saying it's either lots of weight or enough weight or some such thing. I know one thing, it's curling too much. Actually, probably would have been better for New Brunswick if they had to let it rub. So now, our Cutcliffe with another chance to get out. We know that she can make this shot. Certainly had draw weight a couple ends ago, or last end I guess that was. So, again, need another big shot. Lots of big shots required in this game. As you move closer to the playoff round, that's just kind of the norm anyways, really. Every shot becomes a little bit magnified. Every shot becomes that much more important. And that includes this one. So it looks like Ontario came back with a couple on sheet 1. Take a 4-3 lead after 4. Line's pretty good on this. Just might be a little bit warm, maybe. Sweepers are just kind of going with it here. If it curls hard enough, it might be able to get shot rock coming into her own at the back. No, not quite. So unfortunate. Again, Marg just basically a foot heavy, 2 feet heavy. You might argue she was like 5 or 6 feet heavy because they could have swept it a little bit, but regardless, it was a, she throws 1 foot less weight. She's in great shape. Instead, she's got a little bit of a problem here because certainly Isabel's not going to miss the guard this time. Just take lots of ice. She probably has that. So the girl's kind of, see Mark looking around a little bit, trying to figure out exactly how she's going to get in there if she makes this shot. I would say that'd probably be a good plan right about now to give it some thought because I'm not quite sure myself. I'm not positive you can make the shot at all, to be honest. I think that you might end up with a position where you have to just throw it away. Much as you might not want to. Tie game on sheet 2 again at 4. Saskatchewan with the hammer playing in the 6th end. They've moved their game right along as well. And on sheet 4, Team BC stole one in the 5th. Go up 4-1. And Isabel Yeamans, heavy again. And Nova Scotia cannot ask for any more opportunities to get shot rock in this end. They have had a situation where New Brunswick could have basically shut them completely down in these last 2 or 3 shots. Instead, Mark doesn't have an easy shot, but she has a shot, which she shouldn't really have at this point. She throws the exact same shot she threw a minute ago. She'll make it. She'll have her 1 point and go to the 6th end tied up. Smart with a big shot here in the 5th end of this game. We're in the Women's Championship pool action at the 2016 Kings County Masters. The Wolfville Curling Club. I'm Jim Nix, and I'm with you tonight, tomorrow morning, and then for the finals on Sunday. Girls working hard. This is not going to work, this one. Just pull the string a little bit. And New Brunswick will steal one here in the 5th end to take a 3-1 lead after 5. Getting a little tougher for Team Nova Scotia, but down 2, playing 6. A long way from being in big trouble. But you will have to work pretty hard here. Big end to score 2. But if you do, you score 2 here. Force the team to 1 and 7, score 2 and 8. Shake hands, go buy the drinks, and you're good. Seen this BC women's team play 3 games now, and I've seen 3 different sets of headwear on skip Karen Lepine. So obviously she equipped herself with a lot of different variety in headwear. Everything matched though, it was all good. So New Brunswick with the out-turn draw. She'll want this in the house, although I don't think it's going to get there. I think she would have called that. I'm pretty sure she would have wanted that one in the house, but maybe not. You never know. Sometimes strategies very different amongst the teams. All right, Cutcliffe now will ask Joe Linquist to play the in-turn draw, and this one I want to be having this one at the top of the 8-foot, I would say. Somewhere around there would be perfect. Can't be heavy anymore. You're down 2 points, and back of the 8-foot and back of the 12-foot and all that does not work very well anymore. Didn't work real great earlier, but it's certainly not going to work now. This looks pretty good. It's going to be a great shot. Right behind the guard. Great shot. Sweepers got off early enough, didn't take it out the other side. Perfect stone for Jill Linquist. They can't do much about it. What they can do here, if they want to, is go peel their own stone off. They're not going to do that. They're going to stay aggressive, and why not? Skip Yeamans has certainly had nice draw weight today. It's just a hair heavy last end, but overall, really good draw weight. It's just a touch heavy, but I don't think it's going to hurt her. So it just slides a little bit behind the tee line. 3-1 lead. I don't really mind that too much. If the other team plays down to it, then I just come down behind them. So although it's usually preferred to be above the tee line, I could probably live with that one if I'm Team New Brunswick. Scotia, on the other hand, has to make a lot of good shots here. Really can't afford to put any in the wrong places. This one's going to come down to the top blue. Rob. It's not bad, actually. No real double, I don't think. I don't think you can come close enough to the red guard. Not going to play that anyway. They're going to guard it. It's one of these situations. If New Brunswick had a coach in the crowd, he'd probably be standing up waving frantically, saying, guys, I don't know if we want to do this. But, might work. Makes it more fun to watch, that's for sure. Well, perfect shot for Shawn Stubbert, exactly what was called. Are going out maybe to get rid of one of these. Maybe you try to get rid of both of them. I don't know you actually want to get rid of both. If you get rid of both, they're going to play the double. And you're going to have just 2 red ones in the house. Normally that's something you think about, but I really don't think you want to make both of them right now. I don't think I would anyways. Girls working hard on this. So she gets one for sure, gets rid of the shooter, and the other one ended up in an interesting spot. It's going to be hard for New Brunswick to do much to guard both of these little taps. Oh, so you're looking at the run back now, or just a guard. So New Brunswick staying very aggressive. Figure this is what got them the 3-1 lead, and they're going to stay with it. More power to them. Not many teams would actually go that way, so I admire their gall. This works pretty good. Again, another perfect guard, exactly what was called. I don't know if Nova Scotia can play the out turn on the blue one and get around there and tap that up, but if it's makeable, I think that I would be giving it some serious thought here. This is a tough situation because, as I said, I really am not sure I want to make everything go away here, because if you do, New Brunswick's just going to throw a Hummer down there in the middle of those 2 blues, and you're going to have nothing left. Same token, you have to be able to score. You might make something different here. You might actually make it yourself. Be careful here you don't run it right back on your own. That works out pretty good. That's perfect. Well, I just didn't see the whole plan, obviously. So that's pretty good. It's like way better than what I had in mind. So a great shot there. Whoever threw it, Gail Hayes, I think, threw that one. Certainly moved things around very well. Surprised New Brunswick's not playing the high one here. You could actually make the double without a whole lot of risk, to be honest. Not only that, the back one's pretty hard to get out. You should be able to hold this, though, well enough to pick it out. Maybe. Maybe not. Yeah, just a questionable call for me on that one. I don't I like to be critical, but at the same time, I think that if you hit the high one, there is a much better scenario. Regardless of how this worked out. It obviously didn't work out very good for New Brunswick. Karen Hennigar. You know that Karen's going to be pretty darn close to the broom every time, and she looks like she's pretty close to the broom on this one. Would like to flop this a little bit outside if you could. Good throw. And an end that didn't look too good is turned around again. We've seen that happen consistently in this event. Not out of the woods yet for Nova Scotia. New Brunswick certainly can make a double or hit and roll and take it away. But you're sitting 3, and there's only 3 rocks to come. Can't be all that bad. nice shot there. Didn't quite get it out, so it was still an opportunity to set 3 for Nova Scotia, but still a great shot. We'll remind everybody that there is a draw tomorrow morning. Saturday morning at 9 o'clock. We've got men's, what do we have here? Anyways, I'm just having a look here. Final men's and women's round robin game at both clubs. You couldn't possibly have much more to do on Saturday morning that would be any more exciting than coming to watch that action here. No excuses, you don't have to go to work or anything. We expect to see a big crowd down here tomorrow morning. Get up early, go out for breakfast somewhere, then come on down here. Do we have breakfast here tomorrow morning? Holy cow, I got a yes and a no. Oh, no. Okay, so we don't have it right at the curling club, but we do have breakfast right next door at the farmer's market. You can't beat that. Raw eggs. And all kinds of good stuff over there. No, I think it's I haven't been to the farmer's market, but it looks pretty cool. So I think you'd enjoy that, and you'd get a chance to pick up the week's supplies of veggies and all that kind of stuff. So there's no reason not to get out of bed tomorrow morning and go out and get some breakfast. Come on down here by 9. Even if you're just a few minutes late, you'll be all right. Watch the semifinal action. We have here, I don't know, the men must be here, maybe, and the women at the other club. You won't see me here, but I'll be up. I'll just be at the other club. So Nova Scotia sitting 2. Pretty good shape unless New Brunswick makes this double. That's all you can do. They're spaced pretty far apart. Isabel Yeamans has had herself a pretty good game so far. Playing the intern takeout. She will take a shot at the double here. Why not, I figure. Not real heavy, but she had a lot of ice, so it does have to curl. I'll tell you what, if she's going to make the double, it's going to be a very finessey double. I don't even know if she's going to get this one out if it hits the back one. So not a very good effort there by Skip Yeamans. I really don't understand that. She just pulled the string, just threw it a little too light, and didn't even remove either Nova Scotia stone. She will not be happy with that, I'm sure. Mark Cutcliffe now just has to be careful not to run it back on her own, and she should be in pretty good shape to score a point or two here. Maybe tie this one up. Should be pretty happy with that. Several fans here at the Curling Club would be happy with that as well. And probably a couple that wouldn't be, so I don't even know who's here tonight. So Gail Hayes holds the broom for Margaret Cutcliffe, as we mentioned earlier. Karen Hennigar does throw the third stones, but Gail holds the broom. There's various reasons. Sometimes you have a stronger sweeper. Sometimes somebody's just a little better in the house. We've seen Colleen Jones's team do that for years with Nancy Delahunt. The lead holds the stone for Colleen in the house. Sometimes it's just a dynamic thing. So this one needs to hang on for Nova Scotia. It'll hang on, but not where it needed to hang on. So not a good one for Margaret there either. It does remove shot stone, but because these blue ones at the back are so close together, making the double not very difficult. Not very difficult at all. Just throw a little bit of weight down there and hit anything in the middle of that. Key here to make sure you stay. It's going to be, again, hard not to stay, but you could actually hit this in the wrong spot and have it spin out and have Cutcliffe have a chance to make the double or make the hit on the top red and still score 2. So unfortunate for Mark Cutcliffe on that one. I really would have liked to have stayed on that. If she had got a little more curl and stayed in front of these blues, it would have been an interesting call for New Brunswick. They would have maybe been forced to even play a draw, looking at a 3-ender possibly. So Isabel Yeamans now last dot. You can be sure she doesn't make the mistake of being as light as she was on the last one. Looks like she threw this one really well. Gonna have to sweep though. Have to go really hard. This might just be on the nose actually. And it is, so Nova Scotia gets a second crack at it. So a chance to hit and stay for Team Nova Scotia and score 2 points, I think. I'm pretty sure that the red one has to be closer than this blue one. Scott will give us a shot here for a second. I'm pretty overhead. We'll just have a peek. And that one just doesn't help. Have to do it another time. Thanks anyway, Scott. So the screen is just too small for the circles, or circle's too big for the screen. But either way, there we go. All right. So you can see the blue stone there with about 3/4 of the 12-foot. Anyway, we're going to know in a minute because she's going to play the shot and then they're going to possibly measure. Big shot for Mark Cutcliffe, though. Needs to stay here. Desperately needs to stay. At least tie this up and maybe measure for that 3rd point. It probably is closer than it appears. I don't know exactly what they're doing here. This rock has to curl a little more yet. Keeps coming up, and it will, and very nice shot by Mark Cutcliffe, and Nova Scotia picks up something. We'll tell you in a minute what that something is. So they have 2 for sure, and I think it is only 2. I'm pretty sure it's 2, so we're going to make that assumption. Nova Scotia picks up 2 here in the 6th end, ties the game up, 3-3 after 6. And pretty good shape for Team Nova Scotia moving to the 7th end now. You're going to have to play to force the other team to take 1. Get the hammer back in the 8th end. And win it coming home. So we'll just try to see what we got here. Okay. So over at the Glooscap Club, Steve Ogden has dropped a couple more points, down 5-2 with a couple ends to go over there. So not the best case scenario for Augie and the boys. Played a great game here today. They're playing Eugenia Ritzik, who's been playing very well as well. Made short work of Team Alberta this afternoon. And of Quebec last night. We did that game here on Bell Alliance TV1. So looking across the board here, we have still have a 4-3 score, playing 6 on sheet 1 for Ontario. Ontario ahead of Manitoba. Blank the 5th. A big steal of 3 on sheet 2 for Team Northern Ontario over Saskatchewan. Northern Ontario leading that game 7-4. Tie game here, as we mentioned. And over in sheet 4, Quebec with a big 3 in the 6th end. Ties that game up at 4. Playing the 7th. So still have 3 games that are very, very close. And certainly the other one is not, it's not over yet. Down 3 playing the 7th end with the hammer for Saskatchewan is certainly not a game they're ready to give up on. So we're back here in our action and see what how New Brunswick goes about playing this end. Mark Cutcliffe throws up the center guard. No surprise there. And New Brunswick is playing it in the house, I guess. Be a little heavy. Definitely wasn't playing it there, but I'm not. Whoops, Mark, you just take a little slide. Not quite sure if they were trying to throw the corner guard, but I'm guessing. I mean, they're not going to usually miss by that much, so I'm thinking they just tried to draw into the wings, and just a slightly heavy by Helen MacDonald. So Nova Scotia now look to be a little aggressive this end and get some rocks in play. We want to remind everybody to visit bellalliant.ca/TV1 for the webcast and TV schedule, as well as for on-demand content. You can also get information on live events available only to Bell Alliant Fiber Op customers in Atlantic Canada on channels 1 and 401. We're Bell Alliant. There's more to love with Fiber Op. Really happy to be part of the Bell Alliant group here this week and bring you several curling games. As I say, I just got here Wednesday afternoon, I guess it was. But there were games Monday and Tuesday as well. So New Brunswick with an open hit here. This one a little tiny bit outside, I thought. Sweeper's not doing too much with this one. Now working on it a little bit, starting to move. I was saying, holy cow, that ice is really warping over there pretty good. That was pretty firm weight. And I actually thought she had thrown it maybe a little tiny bit outside, but no problem. Actually over-curled and hit it on the nose. So you can see the difference here. New Brunswick playing the inside-out shot. Nova Scotia going outside-in. A lot less ice on the outside-in shot. I think it would be safe to say most competitive teams prefer outside-in, but I think that's changing a little bit now. I'm not so sure that there's a radical difference between one versus the other. This one's going to have to curl. This takes a little while here in this spot, and then it does come up at the end if it's light enough. Not going to quite work. So a rollout for Nova Scotia and a chance for New Brunswick to make a decision here. New Brunswick's decided, okay, we're going to peel that guard off. We're really playing for the blank now. See the tap on the shoulder. Usually anything up around the shoulder, the top of the head is peel weight. So they'll be looking for a little extra weight on this one. I think it's Sharon Stubbert's turn to throw. And it is, and she certainly is capable of throwing it down there with good weight on it. What the heck? Good weight, not as hard as I thought she might throw it, but she also puts a little extra handle on it, so you'll get a little spin action off it when it makes contact. As long as you make contact, and she does. Good shot. Well, let's make sure this gets out. Not going to get out, actually. So a little miss there. I'm really a little surprised she didn't throw that harder. I thought she was throwing some hits earlier in the game, just normal hits, a lot harder than that. Certainly at a peel, I think you got to make an effort to bump that weight up. If you have the capability, if it's beyond your means, you don't do it. But I'm pretty sure that Shawn, I think I'm going to call her Sharon a minute ago, I'm pretty sure that Shawn can throw that much harder than that. She hit a third of the rock and didn't get it out of play. So Nova Scotia with an opportunity here maybe to force. Going to go to the top of the 12-foot. The other shot option here would have been just to split the house. Spread them out as far as you can spread them and then try to force the other team to one that way. But nothing wrong with this spot either. Slides in, full 12-foot, pretty much on the center line. Good shot for Gail Hayes. Shawn throwing the hit here. This is not really much different. This is just a normal weight hit, so that's fine for them. New Brunswick doesn't need a lot of extra weight on that one, and they don't. So a very good throw. Nova Scotia now looking to just trade shots here and try to eventually force New Brunswick to have to play the last shot for 1 point. And they're certainly set up to do that as we approach third stones. Karen Hennigar. This one looks pretty good. Probably going to hit it right on the nose. And it does. It's biting the 12-foot, so it does the job. Might be interesting to see what New Brunswick does here. They may at some point choose to change it up a little bit. I don't really get this shot either. Apologies to Team New Brunswick for doubting the strategy, but I don't really understand why you'd hit this one. I think if I was going to play a hit, I'm going to play the top one, try to roll over there somewhere, make it a little tougher for Nova Scotia to remove it. This is a little bit of a difficult shot. Plus, it's not like you're going to make it and roll behind a guard or something like that. But anyway, make it first. Hope Steeves. Earlier, Hope, a native of Edinburgh, Scotland. I was actually in Edinburgh, Scotland a couple of years ago when I went to the British Open. Pretty cool place. And a great shot here by Hope. So it wasn't a real easy shot, but she made it look like it was no problem at all. Hitting and staying on a rock that's that far over in the 12-foot. Not always the easiest thing to do. Sometimes it's harder to avoid everybody on the other sheet than anything. It's tough sometimes when both teams are playing in the same area of the 12-foot on adjacent sheets. So Karen Hennigar, same shot, try to duplicate New Brunswick's shot. Karen might have a touch more weight than Hope had, but looks pretty good. Very nice throw. Ladies making that look super easy, and that's not an easy throw out there in the 12-foot. Brunswick will have to be a little bit careful here. I'm not sure if in real life that red one is as close to the circle as it looks, but it certainly looks like you could hit this on the red and roll it onto the edge of the 12-foot, which would be, well, certainly a disaster for New Brunswick. Hope looked a little tight on this one. Maybe a lot tight. They're going to have to work really hard on this. Girls sweeping hard, and it looks like they might hold it. Very close, and will it stay? No, it rolls out. So Nova Scotia now just 2 shots away from forcing New Brunswick to take one here in the 7th end. Obviously a preferred result. Are going to play behind this one. A little bit surprised here. I think you, if you make this shot, you pretty much force New Brunswick to play the double. And the last thing you really want New Brunswick doing right now is making a double. That I'd be playing the out-turn draw back over to where they were hitting that last rock. You might steal one, but it's probably unlikely. Really with not much up there other than just that one rock at the top of the 12-foot. So we'll see. That's what they want to do. It's nothing really terribly wrong with the call. I just think you do open up the possibility of a blank end for Team New Brunswick. You know, albeit they have to make a good shot, but if you put it over there in the 12-foot somewhere on the far side, they almost have no opportunity. But here it comes. Just might be feeling really good about this shot and about the possibility maybe of stealing one. And sometimes when you're skip, you just have to go with that. It isn't always about the right call. It's about making the shot that you do call. Karen Hennigar working hard at this rock over somewhere in the vicinity of being behind the guard. Does a job almost. It does leave a little bit of an opportunity for New Brunswick to make the hit and roll, but it will be tough. They will have to play it pretty close to that guard to make the roll. Big 3-ender over on sheet 1 for the team from Manitoba. And a 6-4 lead over Ann Dunn's Ontario team. Ontario team, very solid team. I haven't really seen Manitoba, so I'm not quite sure who they are, but I'm pretty sure they're good as well. Sheet 2, we have Saskatchewan coming back with a 2 in the 5th after giving up that steal of 3 in the 6th, and trail 7-6 coming home without the hammer. Always a bit of a challenge, but 4-rock rule, get some rocks in play, and who knows. And sheet 4, so far we're still tied at 4 as they play the 7th. BC may be in a little bit of trouble over there, but New Brunswick with a great looking shot here. If she gets a bye, and oh, she rolls too far. So it was hard to believe you could actually hit that one on the inside and roll 2 feet open, but she did. So good effort. So Mark Cutcliffe now will have to be very careful on this. As long as you stay here, you're in pretty good shape. A rollout here would be disappointing at best. Mark Cutcliffe with the outturn takeout here at the 7th end. Second last round of the championship play. The 2016 Kings County Canadian Masters, and Mark might have set this one out a little bit. Outside sweeper going hard to try to make it curl at least enough for a piece. She will get a piece, but she's going to roll out. So a big miss by Mark Cutcliffe, giving New Brunswick the opportunity to blank the end after an entire end that looked like it was going to be a force for one. Turns into basically an open hit for a blank, and hits it right on the nose. That will do it. Anywhere on the outside will do it. The only thing she can't do is hit a little bit in the inside and roll into the circles. So unfortunate for Team Nova Scotia there. But it happens. And New Brunswick still does need to make this shot. We end up with a tie game coming home. Isabel Yeamans with the delivery. Sweeper's not doing too much of anything. Sweeping now, I don't know that they need to, but they're okay. So, well, good job by Isabel. New Brunswick will blank the 7th end and retain the hammer, playing the 8th end here in the 2016 Kings County Canadian Masters. We're at the Wolfville Curling Club this evening. Back over to Kentville Club in the morning, over to the Glooscap Club. A great game here. Really tight game, 3-3 tie. Both teams not too bad for time. New Brunswick probably needs to move it along a little bit, but they're probably going to be playing almost all takeouts, so they probably should be okay. Certainly not tight on time. They have 4 and almost play this last end. That's quite a bit. Oh, we have another rock coming over here into our sheet. Happened a couple times tonight. Girls have to do a little better job of that. So I say that's really up to the sweeper. So if you're a sweeper, kind of shot, don't expect somebody else to catch the rock. You got to get over there and catch that if it's on your side. So Mark Cutcliffe asking for a guard. They'll want to throw 2 guards here. It's, as you've heard many times on TV, the idea here is to get a high guard and a low guard. Try to make the double peel as tough as you can. Obviously not as prevalent here in this competition as they might be in some of the big league curling, if you will, that we see on TV, but they are possible. Ice is nice and keen. So a good shot there. Nothing wrong with that one for Jill Linquist. Wow. Thanks. So we just got a little update again from my buddy Edie Lloyd here, and shows Steve Ogden did pick up 3 in the 7th end over at the Kentville Club, the Glooscap Curling Club, and tied up now, coming home in this game with Eugene Aritzik. In a big game for the Team Nova Scotia on the men's side. The game's not the game they're covering over there tonight, so if you're thinking about popping over and catching the last end, you might as well stay here with us. I'll give you the update when it happens. So, I don't know what they did there, actually. Must have played a tick shot. Hit it too hard, obviously removed it, and it goes back. Played that tick shot with a little more weight than most people would have played it, because hit that pretty hard. So Mark Cutcliffe now will ask for another rock up front. You definitely need 2 out there. One's rarely enough. Especially on ice like we have here, where the ice curls, you know, solid 4 feet in most places. 1 guard is pretty tough to make a steal happen just with 1 rock. Has to be so perfect. So I get the out-turn draw this time coming down from Jill. Girls probably could stop sweeping this. I don't think it's going to go far enough to be very helpful. So it's not bad. A little tighter than you'd like it to be. A little too close to the other one, but they are staggered. And so far, New Brunswick has shown a tendency to just get aggressive and go. Just going to throw this one through. Continue to be a little baffled by the strategy. I understand that you're going to go out and peel those, but something at the top of the 4-foot's not bad. Although we talked earlier today, and we did see where it does seem to be that sometimes when you throw those rocks in the house, you just spend the whole rest of the end trying to avoid them on peels. So it's not always a bad thing, by the way. I thought she asked her to throw this through. Maybe she didn't. So, I don't know. I have no idea what they played there, but whatever. It's at the back of the 8-foot, and we will now see what Cutcliffe chooses to do. Not much doubt Margie's going to come around those guards. And you will see New Brunswick, I'm sure, go out and peel that off. I don't think they'll fool around with any more of these come-arounds. Not just yet, anyways. Maybe get later. Quebec steals one on sheet 4 against BC. BC trails 5-4 coming home. They do have hammer. So pretty good shape for BC, even though they have given up a little bit of a lead here. Sweepers going on this one. Will they get it by? And they do. And this could be just about perfect. You got to keep it going. You want to take this as far as it'll go. And a great shot by Gail Hayes. And in European fashion, Gail gives a little wave down the ice. So a very good shot. You'll see now New Brunswick going ahead and play the double peel here, and we'll see if Shawn Stubbert can ramp up the weight a little bit here. She needs a little more than she threw the last in. That looks pretty good. Very good for weight. Lots of weight. And will it curl up and make the double? It looks like it probably will. Does leave a little bit of a guard, but pretty hard to get it all, make everything happen there. So that was a great shot. So Marg asking for another guard. Got to be careful not to make this one too tight. Trying to hold it out there. She must have just been a little bit tight when she let it go. Careful here. It's a little bit heavy as well. Kind of no man's land for sweeping right now. Be pretty good. Very good. You can probably get to the one in the house if you want to take a crack at it, but yeah, I didn't expect they would. Shawn Stubbert, I don't know where that weight was the last time when she had an opportunity to play the peels, but she's throwing these two really nice and firm. But it's getting a little messy for New Brunswick. Nova Scotia now still has to make a good guard, but the draws are getting a little bit more difficult to make for New Brunswick. They still have the out turn. You've grown somewhere in the crowd. I don't know what sheet that was from. Not from ours. Looks like maybe way over in sheet 1. I see them clearing rocks out of the way. Try to update you on what happened there shortly. In the meantime, Karen Hennigar will be asked to throw a guard on this rock at the top of the 4-foot. It's a pretty good rock, pretty good opportunity to score with that rock. You'd like to maybe be a little bit closer to the button, but That's not bad. They need to get a little more curl out of this guard, though. Mark going out to help, and they still got to go a little bit. They want to leave a hole. And they really don't leave much of a hole. Just a little kick on the red stone on the other side. There, put it back. Didn't look like it must have moved very much. They only put it back about a quarter of an inch, but... Okay, so I gave up a steal of 1 over there, I believe, to Manitoba. Manitoba now leads that game 7-4 playing the last end. I know that Ontario's 5-2 going into that game. I'm not too sure where Manitoba was. So we had the standings here, but they were wrong. So Hope Steeves now looking to peel this Nova Scotia guard out. She's not going to make the guard. She almost makes the hole. And takes out the blue one over there. That doesn't matter one iota, so... So Mark with a tough call here. I'm not quite sure where she should put this one. Timeout. She's not sure either. So Nova Scotia takes a timeout. They'll have 90 seconds to talk about it. We'll have 90 seconds in here to run a little poll. If I can get it done up quick enough. So I'd just take the headset off for a second there. I have a sore ear. I've been wearing this too long today, I guess. But we're back. Did a little poll in the arena here. We had a tie. So I'm not even going to bother to tell you what the shots were that were considered, because a tie, it doesn't really matter. I don't actually have a clue what they're playing yet. I think she's going to play the out-turn come around here. Maybe come right into the forefoot. Right in, bite the button would be really good. I think if I was going to play this shot, and having Karen throwing it. Got in yet? So Karen Hennigar now will play the out-turn come around. Try to come right into the top of the button. Want to be above the tee line. You don't want to set up any doubles, but you probably won't. It should curl enough that that shouldn't be. If you can make this really good, you just ramp up your chances of stealing one here and winning this game. Karen lets it go pretty nicely, as she usually does. They have to make sure they don't hit this guard. They got to go really hard now. Well, it was probably a little bit light, actually, for the draw anyways, and it didn't hit very much of the red one, so... World. But it would have been nice to get that by just to prevent, even if you just prevented the run back on the red. Just missed that sweep call a little bit. So we're in the 8th end, and every game out here now, it's getting a little bit Brunswick now playing the peel on the blue one. Hope Steeves throwing a rocket down here. Hope looks like she only weighs about 67 pounds. She threw this one to 100 miles an hour. Great shot. Gets rid of it. Exactly what you want to shoot her out, which is more important than you think sometimes. The last couple didn't really roll that far, and we're going to take her draw away from her skipper. That one rolls well out of play. Actually, right out of play. So we have Mark Cutcliffe throwing now. We're already at skip stones here. Crazy. It's a crazy game times. Mark Cutcliffe having to make a good shot here. She could actually throw a different shot if she wanted to. She could actually come right around the red one. Go right into the top of the 4-foot that way if she wanted, but she's going to throw the guard. It's a good opportunity. You've got the left side guarded. As long as you can get your guard within about 6 inches of the center line, 6-8 inches, you'll be in pretty good shape. So it's on its way. Sweepers might want to clean it, or they might not. Haven't really seen very many picks this week, but I kind of like that idea of cleaning on the last couple shots of the game. Anyway, it does stop. Good guard by Mark Cutcliffe. Maybe a tiny little bit further than she wanted, but pretty darn good. New Brunswick calls a timeout. It's kind of like watching a basketball game. You know, in a basketball game, 2.5 minutes left and take 22 minutes to play it. Well, it's kind of like that. Fortunately, we only have 2 timeouts each, so we're not going to take more than an extra 3 minutes. Important game. Oh, my God. So in a really rare situation, just looking at the scoreboard here, unless somebody's made a mistake, it appears that the Saskatchewan and Nova Scotia, Saskatchewan with the Hammer playing 8 blank the 8th end. They're going to move to the 9th end. They still have Hammer. They should change that rule. Like, if you don't score in the last end when you have Hammer, you just have to give it up. That's what I think. But they probably won't get the place before they play that end, so they'll have to make do with trying to steal that last end. So big shot here by Isabel Yeamans. If she could ever make the double, she could kind of probably eliminate Nova Scotia from winning this game, or certainly making it much more difficult. Lots still for Margaret to work with, but they're a little further off the line, so you could draw around the red and get 4-foot, but you're going to leave the full 4-foot as well. So Isabel looking down at the rock a little bit, looking up, picking up the target, slides out, and releases. Pretty close. At least should have an opportunity. Whoops. That's good. I don't know. Great shot. You're going to just go barely far enough, but she does. What a terrific shot by skip Isabel Yeamans to get that rock off the button, off the 4-foot. Isabel just stayed within herself there. You could tell that, you know, it probably required a little more weight to make that shot, or she would have thought it did, but it didn't. If you hit it in the right spot, they go. She did everything she could do without throwing herself off, and makes a perfect shot. So Mark Cutcliffe with an opportunity. Actually has a great guard out there still to work with. It's a little tiny bit further out, so she actually has a little bit more room to work with. Put this one on the edge of the button. Say, there you go, Isabel, do it again. Sheet 2, Saskatchewan stole 2 in the last end to win that game 8-7. Big game to score 2, to steal 2 to win for sure. This one's got a serious curling and probably needs to slow down a little bit, but it's not bad for weight. She at least should end up with shot rock here, because she should come to the red one. She does. Would have been nice if it had a curl at least a few more inches, make the shot that much tougher. I think that this is she's going to throw some sort of hit. I actually thought Isabel would just throw a draw down here. Take the edge of the 8-foot and just follow that one down. And wouldn't be a problem. The problem with this shot, if it hangs out a little bit, you actually could take everything out, and the blue one on the left side would end up counting. So last rock, or last rock of the, yeah, it's going to be the last rock of the game one way or the other. New Brunswick with a chance to win. fairly easy shot, if it wasn't the last rock of the game. Someone once talking, we had a junior team one time, and they said, well, you know, a little analogy, if you had an open hit to make it in the third end, would you make it? And they're all like, yeah, we'll make it. Had a third end, open hit in the sixth end, would you make it? Yeah, we make it. Now you're getting an open hit to beat Ed Waring at that time, going back a few years. Last end, will you make it? They're like, well, I'm not sure. I'm like, well, what changed? So this one's on its way. Looks pretty good right now. I think she's going to be fine. I think she's got a great shot. Nice shot by Isabel. New Brunswick picks up a couple here in the last end to win 5-3 over Team Nova Scotia. Improving to 4-4 or 5-3. 5-3. Nova Scotia dropping back to 5-3. So I don't know exactly what that does to standings, but certainly was going to be tight no matter what happened here, and we'll figure it all out later. Like to thank everybody for viewing tonight. Like to also remind you that we do have two more draws one club on the regulation round, the round robin. It's tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. And we'll be able to fill you in there exactly where Team Nova Scotia stands as far as the playoffs. My name's Jim Nix. I'd like to thank everybody. Thank my partner Scott over in the booth. And we'll look forward to seeing you again tomorrow here at the 2016 Kings County